Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video course is for speaking, so it's called How to Speak English Fluently in 10 Days, my story. So really it's very important if you want to speak English fluently and fast. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Did you manage to start speaking English fluently in 10 days? Did you manage to start speaking English? To start speaking English fluently in 10 days? Right. The thing is that I had a very clear plan. The thing is that I had a very clear plan. Can you tell me what you did exactly? Can you tell me what you did exactly? No problem. I'm sure that everyone should know this information. No problem. I'm sure that everyone should know this information. Okay, so let's revise it. I have a question for you. Did you manage to start speaking English fluently in 10 days? Right. The thing is that I had a very clear plan. Can you tell me what you did exactly? No problem. I'm sure that everyone should know this information. Okay, I'm listening to you with all ears. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you with all ears. With all ears. Yeah, I'm full of concentration. I'm full of concentration. I'm full of concentration. Well, I'll start with my first day. I'll start with my first day. I didn't have any speaking partners, unfortunately. I didn't have any speaking partners, unfortunately. So, you might have understood that it was really difficult in the beginning. So, you might have understood that it was very difficult. It was very difficult in the beginning. I wanted to find a speaking partner, but I couldn't do it for some reasons. I wanted to find a speaking partner, but I couldn't do it. But I couldn't do it for some reasons. Okay, so you see, okay, I'm listening to you with all ears. I'm full of concentration. Well, I'll start with my first day. I didn't have any speaking partners, unfortunately, so you might have understood that it was very difficult in the beginning. I wanted to find a speaking partner, but I couldn't do it for some reasons. Okay, what did you do in the end? What did you do What did you do in the end? What did you do in the end? I started thinking in English. I started thinking in English. It was extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult. I had some ideas in my head, in my mother tongue. I had some ideas in my head, in my mother tongue. In my mother tongue, and then I translated everything into English. And then I translated everything into English. I was doing it all day. I was doing it all day. And I find this exercise extremely useful. And I find this exercise extremely useful. If you don't have someone to talk to, if you don't have someone to talk to, you need to think about English thinking practice. You need to think about English thinking practice. So when you think in English, it's some kind of speaking practice too. It's some kind of speaking practice too. So when you speak to yourself in your head, it's also speaking. When you speak to yourself in your head, it's also speaking. Yeah, it's a very important training. It's a very important training, really. It's a very important training. Okay, let's revise it. Okay, so what did you do in the end? I started thinking in English. Yeah, we wanted to say it, and it was extremely difficult. I had some ideas in my head, in my mother tongue, and then I translated everything into English. I was doing it all day, and I find this exercise extremely useful. So if you don't have someone to talk to, you need to think about English thinking practice. So it's some kind of speaking practice too. So when you speak to yourself in your head, it's also speaking. It's a very important training. Well, what did you do after that? Well, what did you do? What did you do after that? If I remember my second and third days, if I remember my second and third days, I really wanted to find a speaking partner. I really wanted to find a speaking partner. But I decided to do one more very important exercise before it. But I decided to do one more very important exercise, before it. What was it? Okay, so, well, what did you do after that? If if I remember my second and third days, so I really wanted to find a speaking partner, but I decided to do one more very important exercise before it. Okay, what was it? What was it? I tried to speak on different subjects aloud. I tried to speak on different subjects aloud, and I recorded myself, and I recorded myself. After that, I listened to it. It really helped me to see my weak and strong points. It really helped me to see my weak and strong points. You know, you really need to do this exercise. You really need to do this exercise. You need to listen to your speech. When did you find someone to talk to? When did you find someone to talk to? So after these first 3 days, I found lots of people, I found lots of people online, and I started communicating with them. It was difficult, It was difficult. I mean that so most of our conversations were very basic. That most of our conversations were very basic. I wanted to talk on a wider range of topics. With more advanced speakers, and good listeners as well. Some people wanted to speak all the time, and it was absolutely terrible. Some speaking partners wanted to speak all the time, and it was absolutely terrible, Okay, so you see, after these first 3 days, I found lots of people online and started communication with them. Communicating with them. So it was difficult. That most of our conversations, were very basic. So I wanted to talk on a wider range of topics, on different topics, not only about, how are you, what's your name, where do you live, with more advanced speakers and good listeners as well. So some speaking partners wanted to speak all the time, and it was absolutely terrible. So as a result, I had 3 new very good friends. I had 3 new very good friends, as far as I remember. I was speaking to them a lot. So in total it was about 6 or 7 hours a day. In total it was about 6 or 7 hours a day. 7 hours a day. It was about 6 or 7 hours a day. What else did you do? What else did you do? I had a time limit. So I had only, 10 days since I was on holiday. I had only 10 days since I was on holiday, and I decided to learn English even more intensively. So if I remember my program, intensively. If I remember my program for the days, so for the days from 6 to 10, so it was the following. Okay, so as a result, I had 3 new good friends. As far as I remember, I was speaking to them a lot, so in total it was about 6 or 10 hours a day. What else did you do? I had a time limit. I had only 10 days since I was on holiday, and I decided to learn English even more intensively. So if I remember my program for the days from 6 to 10, it was the following. So I added some very important parts. Or in fact, I added some very important parts. What was it? Can you share it with us? In addition to what I have already said, I added 2 things. I wasn't quite sure about my grammar, and I decided to refresh, the basics of grammar. I wasn't quite sure about my grammar, and I decided to refresh the basics of grammar. So from elementary to intermediate, to intermediate. I did lots of exercise and it gave me great confidence. I did lots of exercises and it gave me great confidence, okay. So in fact I added some very important parts. So what was it? Can you share it with us? In addition to what I already said, I added two things. So I wasn't quite sure about my grammar, and I decided to refresh the basics of grammar. So from elementary to intermediate, I did lots of exercises and it gave me a great confidence. And what did you do on the 10th day? What did you do? What did you do on the 10th day? Yeah. So it was my last free day. So, and I was able to speak English, without any problems. I was able to speak English without any problems. Yeah, so without any problems, I decided to listen to English speech more. I listened to different talks, in English, and I learned lots of useful speaking phrases. To sum up, you need to use different instruments. You need to use different instruments or different tools or different methods. Yeah, not only one. So my friend, try it, and if you have time, you can do it. You can do it for a longer period of time. For more progress. You can do it for a longer period of time for more progress. Really, and I wish you really very good progress. So what did you do on the 10th day? So it's a good question. So it was my last free day and I was able to speak English without any problems. So I decided to listen to English speech more. I listened to different talks in English and I learned lots of useful speaking phrases. So to sum up, you need to use different instruments, tools, methods, yeah. So not only one, yeah, and actually we were talking about it. Try it. So you have time, you can do it for a longer period of time for more progress. Yeah, I think that really this video course is full of lots of useful information, so you can listen to it again and you can use all these tips and I'm sure it'll help you a lot. You just need to do it and I think that your life will change greatly, yeah, as well as your English. Thank you, my friends. See you. I wish you good luck. Bye bye.